All right. I think the best way to combat feeling crappy is to do something good in the moment. So this is that. Okay. Bear with me. So I'm gonna go over a topic that I covered in my last video, and it resonated with a lot of people. So uh, I'm gonna go into it in this video, and that topic is dreading work, and basically my solution or my experience. More focusing on the solutions here. So my solutions in my experience. Okay, so let's start with well, for one, choosing the right work. Work can just be work, right? It could contribute very little to your personal development, your skill development, your uh, knowledge. So there's that. You could either be working at a job that offers you none of that, or you're working at a job that does offer you that. Now, that's great, right? Depending on what kind of person you are and what you're looking for. But you still have to be learning about stuff that's at least remotely interesting to you, or you see potential value, right? Like, um, so still, just because you're learning stuff at your job doesn't make it better if it's not stuff that you actually want to be learning, or that's actually never going to be useful. Let's say, like, it's objectively never useful. So there's that. I would go with like picking something that's more based towards around your personal interests. So looking for jobs that have to do, for me, for example, anything that has to do with plants, tending to plants, or um, like business, online business, entrepreneurship, sales, marketing. But here's the thing, right? I've had jobs in all of these different areas, and they are not all created equal. Uh, you know, doing sales could be a hell if, say, you're doing car sales and that's just something that you don't care about cars, you have no interest. Like, what are you doing there? Uh, doing sales in a manner and selling a service or a product that you actually can get behind makes a big difference. So you have to protect your values and protect your your um, character. Okay, um, moral values, ethics, all that stuff matters, whether or not you hate your job, and whether or not it contributes to dread. Um, so I think starting there is a good uh, spot, right? You want to, and so let's say your job doesn't offer you any sort of apparent value, let's say intellectually and in terms of acquiring skills. Obviously you're doing the job because it offers you value, which is the money. Um, this kind of reminds me about that these in the YouTube world or in the self-help world. There's Simon Sinek. He has this book called "What's Your Why" or something like that. And I was just thinking about that, right? Like, find your why behind your job. Like, why are you at this job rather than any other job? Uh, everyone has uh, sometimes you're just limited to your options, but still, even if you don't have an option, whatever. I still feel like if you think about finding your why, it's really useful. But at the same time, I've noticed that with people who are prone to anxiety or like maybe like depressive symptoms, um, sometimes you might have your why, but you still feel like shit regardless. Um, your why could be not being broke, providing for friends and family. Um, it could be for personal development, right? You could be doing a job that does teach you stuff, and you still hate it or feel like shit, feel empty, feel you should. I should believe that it's a good feeling to feel productive after your job. So if you don't feel productive after your job, there's a you got to pay attention to that. You got to work on that. Find a solution. All right. So I covered the why. Okay. Let's see. Um, so for the people who struggle regardless with dreading work, I would highly suggest looking into meditation or practicing meditation, because a lot of my feelings come from thoughts. uh, they could start at either as a thought, or they could start as a feeling, or they could start as a physical sensation, or activity. Maybe I'm just like stuck, whatever. Um, so meditation, I would say the meditation has been really useful and helpful for me. Um, I do kind of whatever I want when it comes to meditation. I have different like techniques. Uh, I do it in the shower. So before work, I'll hop in the shower, take a 15-minute shower, and I'll just meditate. Um, Hot showers have always been really help something that I rely on for easing tension in my body and mind. Also, I think it stimulates my body in a way too that's healthy for me. So that's where I do my meditation, and I think just practicing recentering yourself uh, can be really helpful when uh, uh, because imagine this: you wake up in the morning, and instead of being flooded by negative thoughts and being completely at the mercy of them, uh, you have the foundation, you have the power to sort of dodge, weave, shake off these feelings. And it does reduce the amount of negative feeling you could experience in a day by a lot. Uh, I think doing it in the morning is best, because it's like everything after that is much different than prior. Um, Also, I like to expand, like sort of astral project, where I kind of zoom out of my body. I zoom out of my bathroom. I zoom out of my apartment. I zoom out of my neighborhood. I zoom out from Earth, and I think that helps with a perspective adjustment to where my world doesn't feel so small and my problems don't feel so tiny. Because here in Los Angeles, when you go outside, it's very claustrophobic, and your world can feel quite small or insignificant, also due to the vastness of the city. Um, so yeah, it's almost akin to this type of meditation is almost like going to Colorado and seeing the big sky, and you feel peace, and you feel your place sort of, and as an organism. And things just feel like it just feels like it makes sense. That's kind of, I don't know, you're tapping into sort of your some sort of primal function or purpose or reality. um, okay, so there's meditation, highly useful. uh, then you meditate intentionally, and then you can try to just then throughout the day you're just deflecting shit, right? You're not necessarily meditating, but you at least had that training to deflect, so you get your stats up a little bit for the day. That helps. So I think in all these things are not going to just solve this problem, but if you the more tools you have, the more things you're acting upon, I think the more of a percentage you're decreasing in negative thoughts net for the day, like at the end of the day. uh, which I think is a win, because you carry that over to the next day and the next day, and you get better. And with consistency and time, that's how things change, right? You have to commit. So, all right. So the next thing is gratitude. So basically, take stock of your current situation, and then take a look around you and take stock of other people's situations, and realize that there's all kinds of different lives out there, all kinds of different people, and it's impossible to know and exactly what it's like to be in somebody else. But you can start to just see, oh well, fuck, I'm you can start to see your blessings. Let's just put it that way. Seeing the realities of life definitely makes me appreciate my blessings, and I then will be more grateful and being more grateful increases your happiness, increases something, or maybe it decreases the amount of negative thoughts. Again, if you have a proper, if you set your perspective right in the beginning of the day, you take stock, you're grateful, you experience a grateful moment, and say you meditate. That's power. That's like better than taking any medicine, any SSRI. Period. Okay, I'm still filming. I was just checking. So there's that gratitude. Okay. Also being grateful that you say you have a job. Yeah, you might be dreading this job, but then there's things to find in this job that could be fun. There's things you could try to, because also where's this dread stemming from, right? It could be very different things for different people. The fact you have to socialize, maybe it's the fact that you have a overbearing boss. Maybe it's disorganization. Maybe it's uncertainty. Maybe it's of like toxicity. Like it could be anything, right? Uh, so uh, shit, gratitude. Um, yeah, be grateful you actually have a job, and on top of that, uh, if you've done the first part, which is find the right kind of job, there's definitely stuff to be grateful for. You know, a job that plays into your strengths and allows you to sort of glide easier. Not easier in the sense of it's less work, but like it's more your thing. It resonates with you, you know. Some of these my construction friends, they're you put them in an office, they're gonna like melt or just they'll explode. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like they are much more suited to actually ease through the day doing hands-on manual labor, right? So you just gotta find your thing, be grateful. Not having a job is tough. Being broke is tough, right? So uh, even if you know it's you're just doing it for the money, if that's the main driving factor, then find the gratitude in that. Find the see see. I mean, maybe you know you know the feeling of being stressed, not having maybe a job, right? Like any job is better than that. In those moments, you tell yourself that, oh my god, like I just fucking, I would be just glad if I could even just wash dishes right now, right? Like even though that's not ideal at all, better than not having a job and wanting one. But I truly believe not just also just picking up any job that just falls into your lap or waiting for someone to give you a job. Like you have to go out there and create the job or find the job. You should just be talking to fucking the top owners, business owners. That's all you need to be talking to, and you need to get a job. That's how you get a job. Whether you show up in person, fucking call them, emails, do whatever. Sending out resumes for me has been the least ineffective effective way. Like I've gotten some jobs, but only because they required extra. Like I filled out extra questions that other people didn't. Okay, so here's another thing. Let's get it back on track. So um, gratitude. So then also, if you're dreading work, right, and if work is 90% of your fucking day, if work is 90% of the shit you do, and you dread it, and you don't like your job, no shit, you're gonna be depressed. No shit, that's just gonna fucking suck because that's like out of the three things you did for in your day, one of them was spoiled, and that happened to be 90% of your day. Then your day is gonna feel spoiled, right? Like you could focus and be grateful all you want for the little parts that you did well on, but if unless you're feeling it, that shit sucks, right? Like you don't want to feel that way. So I would say there's two ways to go about this. You could have more of a subtractive reasoning, problem solving approach or an additive approach. Okay, you could either add more onto your plate to where you know now you're doing five things in a day, and if one of them is spoiled, and say it's 70% of your day, maybe you still have the other 30% is way better than 10. Okay, uh, so these are all things that I'm doing. Okay, I've got if I'm not making music, I'm doing my plants. If I'm not doing my plants, I'm doing my art. Like there's always something good for me to be doing that I feel good about. And honestly, that works the best for me because sometimes I do go off feeling, you know, I'm not always forcing myself to do stuff. Like I like having options. Anyways, I don't want to get into all that. Like we could get into that in another video. Uh, like how to organize all the shit that you want to do and just how to have like a happy, busy, in a good way, productive, more so, sort of feeling at the end of the day. Okay. So, yeah, let's see. Okay, that's it for now. Uh, please share your questions or any ideas of things you'd want me to talk about. Okay, I could make a lot more of these videos, but uh, to cover all this stuff, because there's so much I could say. I have so much to say. Like, um, but yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm gonna get on that. I don't know. It's everything's making more sense. This is starting to make a little more sense to me. So yeah, please comment and let me know any questions. I'd love to make more of these videos, and it makes me happy when people resonate or share. Yeah. So thanks. Peace.